welcome to Treasury Notes, a show dedicated to the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Long. State Treasurer John Perdue is continuing his commitment to financial education with several initiatives this month. Later in the show, we'll speak with the Senior State Director for AARP, Gaylene Miller. She'll be here to talk more about October's Money Smart Week and some of the events associated with the week, including the Treasurer's Women and Money Conference. You'll also find out more about ways you can cash in on the conference and other financial education opportunities around the state. That information is coming up a little later in the program, but first, the Treasurer continues to keep the state's finances in order, and one of the ways he does that is by investing in local economies. At various times throughout the year, the Board of Treasury Investments, which Treasurer Perdue oversees, holds online auctions for certificates of deposit. In fact, sometimes the auctions serve as learning tools for students and financial professionals. Here's more from the latest event.
They all have different strategies. Some of them go in and say, okay, 0.23 is the maximum I can go no matter what. I'm going to put it in at that. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't.
Denise Baker, the Director of Operations for the Board of Treasury Investments, talks strategy as she watches the bids roll in for the board's online certificate of deposit auction.
We're still at just $15 million.
Baker and other financial experts are watching in real time as local banks bid competitive interest rates on money from the state. For the banks, the money received in an online CD auction at a low interest rate can be used for mortgages, home equity loans, and other bank business. For the state, it's putting the state's investments back into the local economy. In fact, smaller banks benefited from this particular online auction, with Main Street Bank of Wheeling and Harrison County Bank of Lost Creek gaining $5 million each. BB&T and WesBanco also gained $5 million each in this latest auction. In all, the Board of Treasury Investments has placed more than $693 million on deposit with state banks since May 2006. For more information on CD auctions and the Board of Treasury Investments, log on to www.wvbti.com. The Treasurer's primary responsibility is taking care of the banking business of the state, but that's not the only function of the office. Treasurer Perdue has made a commitment to helping children around the state and their parents save for higher education. The Smart 529 College Savings Program is designed to give people an easy way to invest in their future. And now the Smart 529 program is offering a new and exciting way to build savings. The College Savings Program has partnered up with You Promise, a free rewards program. Just by signing up, you can turn everyday spending into cash for college. Treasurer Perdue recently unveiled this new partnership between Smart 529 and You Promise at the Kroger grocery store in Beckley. And he had a few young people help him demonstrate exactly how it all works. Greg Stone has more on the search for savings.
Let's turn the corner here. Let's turn the corner. Here, you did get one. Put it in. Oh, you found the chocolates.
State Treasurer John Perdue doesn't ordinarily go grocery shopping with a host of second graders in tow. But in this case, the cause is increased awareness of Smart 529 college savings.
You all see how easy that is?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Treasurer made a stop at the Beckley Crossing Kroger to promote Smart 529's association with You Promise. 40 second graders from Maxwell Hill Elementary joined him. You Promise puts money into a Smart 529 investor's account with the purchase of certain food brands and other commodities such as gasoline.
We share the Treasurer's conviction that we need to help every West Virginia resident save effectively for college.
Put in the cart.
Kids love the scavenger hunt, looking for items branded with the You Promise insignia. Each purchase of a You Promise item is kept by electronic record. Savings are eventually transferred to the purchaser's Smart 529 account. Before the 6'6" treasurer led the scavenger hunt, he got down on the kids' level and stressed the importance of college.
Now, how many of you want to go to college? Oh, that's great.
Jeff Cogan of the Hartford joined in the support for college savings.
Treasurer Perdue created the program back in 2002 because he passionately believes that West Virginia's future is tied to our education system.
The kids did not only learn the importance of college and saving for it, they also participated in a good deed.
Now, you know what we're going to do with all this? What? We're going to donate it to the food bank. And you know what a food bank is?
No.
Well, we help the needy.
This is Greg Stone reporting for Treasury Notes.
To find out more about the new partnership between the Smart 529 College Savings Program and You Promise, be sure to check out our website, www.wvtreasury.com. There you will find out more information about signing up for both the Smart 529 account and the You Promise reward system. You'll also find out more about how easy it is to link the two programs. Again, just go to our website, wvtreasury.com, for more information. As you heard earlier, education at all age levels is something the Treasurer's Office is committed to providing. And one of the big successes in that area is our Women and Money conferences. The Treasurer's Office has held more than 25 conferences around the state, and now we're expanding the opportunities available with new partnerships and a revamped speaker schedule. AARP is a longtime supporter of the conferences. Coming up, we'll talk with Senior State Director Gaylene Miller about some of the newest financial education initiatives. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The primary function of the Treasurer's Office is cash management. People don't realize that we are the largest bank in the state of West Virginia. People have no idea how much money comes through the Treasurer's Office, over $13 billion now. I pride myself in being the best state in managing money in the nation. I'm the banker of state government. We are your bank. We take care of your money.
Welcome back to Treasury Notes, a show designed to update you on the latest news and information from the office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. I'm your host, Gina Long. Treasurer Perdue has made great strides to lead the way when it comes to financial education. With more than 25 successful Women and Money conferences and several other financial education initiatives, the Treasurer's Office is finding new ways to promote good money management. One of those ways is by partnering with AARP and several other organizations for the development of Money Smart Week here in West Virginia. And here to talk more about our latest Women and Money Conference, Money Smart Week, and other local financial literacy initiatives is Gaylene Miller, Senior State Director for AARP West Virginia. Gaylene, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us on, Gina.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things we're working on collaboratively between the Treasurer's Office and AARP, but before we get to that, let's just start by talking about AARP in general and what your mission is in the community.
Well, sure. AARP is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization, a membership organization for people 50 and older. Here in West Virginia, we have around 300,000 members with almost 40 million members nationwide. And our founder was a retired educator, Dr. Ethel Percy Andrus. And Dr. Andrus was really ahead of her time. But why she established AARP is an interesting story that I'd like to share with you. She was going to visit a colleague of hers and found her living in a chicken coop, if you can imagine.
Yeah.
That image really incensed Dr. Andrus. And as a result, she then created the National Retired Teachers Association to combine that collective voice. And then as a result of that, so many people were impressed with the organization and what they were able to accomplish. The AARP was established, and that was more than 50 years ago.
So then education is really the roots of AARP and providing for those educators who were retired.
It's all about community service, which is outreach and education, as well as our advocacy at the State House and at the federal level.
And the organization really is integrated into the community quite quite a bit. As I said earlier, you're always working with other organizations and state agencies to make sure that the needs, I guess, of your constituents are being met.
Well, absolutely. We like to consider ourselves a collaborator and a convener of different groups and organizations, particularly around issues of financial literacy and consumer protection.
And talking about financial literacy, AARP has really spearheaded the efforts to get Money Smart Week here into West Virginia. I know a few other states do hold similar events. Our week is from the 18th to the 22nd of October this month. So how did this develop, and why did AARP decide that this was so important?
Well, it was part of, as you said, an initiative that started in the Midwest, actually by the Chicago Federal Reserve. As a result, there have been programs that took place in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, mostly in the Midwest. Some of my colleagues on the AARP staff, actually the AARP Foundation staff, learned about the initiative and thought that that would be a great thing to do in West Virginia, to bring it to the east, if you will. And so working with the Federal Reserve in Richmond, along with a variety of partners here in West Virginia, we're going to see the culmination of that work come as Money Smart Week in West Virginia, October 18th through the 22nd,
I think, is what the dates are. And but really, there are a lot of things going on the entire month that will promote financial literacy. And as I said earlier, the Treasurer's Office has really been a leader in financial literacy education for many, many years. We have done the Women and Money conferences. We're on, I think it's our 27th Women in Money conference that is coming up in Beckley. And that conference in particular, we've decided to kind of take a little twist on it, collaborate with AARP to bring some new speakers and give people some new information. So let's start by talking about that. That event is on October 1st. And let's talk a little bit about what will be available at that event.
Sure, it's at Tamarack in Beckley on October 1st. We have folks from the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, what we refer to as FINRA. They're coming to talk about wise and safe investing. We have a gentleman from the Social Security Administration who's going to talk about Social Security issues, and particularly how to avoid identity theft, because we know if your Social Security number is compromised, your identity is compromised. We also have West Virginia's Senior Legal Aid's Executive Director, Kathy McConnell, who's going to be talking about advanced planning and advanced directives and the kinds of things, steps you need to take to ensure that your wishes are observed in the future. And then, of course, we have our friend from the Attorney General's office will be joining us, Jill Miles, will be talking about some other consumer protection kinds of issues.
And a conference like this, obviously AARP focuses on people who are 50 and older, getting ready to retire, but the information, I think it's important to note, is really relevant to all age groups, especially someone who may be taking care of a parent, or we all get older, so eventually you're going to need this information, right?
You're right, Gina, and these topics really are important to any age group, whether it's about saving for retirement or wise investing and safe investing during retirement years. Advanced planning is an opportunity that we all need to really take advantage of and think about seriously. So again, and we're all consumers, so consumer protection issues touch us all as well.
Absolutely, and identity theft, what a hot topic right now, especially with the internet. I know so many people are scared that what they do might not be the right thing. And I think to calm those fears, it's these kind of educational opportunities that are really helpful.
We say the best consumer is a well-informed consumer, and so it's about learning how to be safe on the internet, learning how to protect your identity, and how to make right choices going forward.
And when you're learning for free is a good incentive too. That's the one thing we want to point out, is that this conference is free to the public.
It is, and there's lunch included, but we would expect folks to register so we know how many folks we're going to have, so we can plan accordingly.
Right, and for the Women in Money Conference, if folks want to register, they can just go to our website, which is www.wvtreasury.com. And I also think you have a phone number, correct, that people can call if they want to register?
Yes, a toll-free number.
Okay.
It's 800-422-7498, and the extension is 0724.
Okay, 0724 is that extension. And going back to the whole idea of financial literacy education, this Money Smart Week, as I said, this kind of the Women in Money Conference falls a little bit outside of the Money Smart Week, but there are several initiatives going on the entire month, and there's going to be another conference on the 19th. This isn't exactly the same thing as the Women in Money Conference.
No, it's not, but the Women in Money Conference really kind of kicks off the whole month. But on the 19th, we have actually 4 separate kinds of programs going on simultaneously. So it's for the individual consumer as well as some professionals, whether it be social workers, attorneys, financial planners, and law enforcement.
And there are credits available for people who want to get continuing education credits, which is always a nice thing.
Absolutely. And again, that conference is free of charge as well. I think there may be a charge for the continuing education units, but again, they can learn more about Money Smart Week and what all is on the program if they're interested at the website, which is moneysmartweek.com.
Okay.
/WV.
Okay, very important to note. And again, we just want to make sure that people realize we're talking about 2 different events here. We're talking about the Women in Money Conference in Beckley at Tamarack, which is on October 1st, and then on October 19th at the Civic Center in Charleston, we're talking about, this is called Consumer University, I think is the title, but there will be several tracks and a lot of information for all different professionals.
Right. Being a smarter consumer, as I say, there is just a wealth of information that's going to be shared in a classroom style setting, as well as some great keynote speakers. But then even later in the afternoon, and I'm really excited about this, we're having a financial health clinic where there will be a variety of vendors available, whether it's from the banking industry. Of course, AARP will have a display and exhibit, as will our partners at the Treasurer's Office.
The Treasurer's Office will as well.
Sure, and it's going to be interactive, so people can, for example, get their credit report, find out about their credit score. They can learn more about prizes that might be available. So there's some gas cards and some grocery cards that could be available as well. So it's really a checkup, if you will. I think folks are familiar with the concept of a health fair. Well, this is a financial health checkup clinic.
Which is always a good thing, and you mentioned about some of the different things that will be displayed there, some of the interactive things. We'll have an unclaimed property booth there, I'm sure, with the Treasurer's Office, and I know people can also get information on the Smart 529 College Savings Program. So those are just a few other things that people will have the opportunity to learn more about, and that's really what these events are all about, is educating the public and giving them the opportunity to learn about things that they don't necessarily see in the mainstream all the time.
Right, and they're things that are important to them and their families to learn about. Because again, the best consumer is a well-informed consumer, and we provide that information in a variety of venues in a variety of ways.
Talking about the importance of this, you know, I did ask you kind of why AARP decided to go this route and focus on this, but go into a little bit more depth about how important this information is, particularly to the people you service.
Well, you know, I think, Gina, that we have an interesting dynamic in the AARP membership, and that is we have people from the age of 50 and up. So about half of our members are actually between the ages of 50 and 64, and they're the ones who are really starting to think about and see retirement opportunities closing in on them, if you will. So they start checking and seeing how they are set financially in terms of a nest egg, looking at what they will need to survive in retirement and have a little extra perhaps. So they start making some decisions around investing and maybe trying to hit that home run instead of taking the safe route. So the opportunity for them to learn about wise and safe investing is really important, as well as our older members. Again, that other half that's over the age of 65, many of them them who are retired want to make sure that their money continues to make money. So again, it's two different lenses on the same consumer issue. And we're excited that we're able to bring in partners like FINRA to help us, like working with the Treasurer's Office to help us get the message out.
And Gaylene, when you talk about things like investing and budgets and money, a lot of people get scared. They get scared when they hear those words because they worry that maybe they don't know exactly what they're doing, or that there are so many tricks out there, so many fraudulent things out there. That's why this is so important. And I think it's important to note that this is for all age groups, because the earlier you start, the better.
Right, and I'm glad you bring that up, because not only is this about the wise and safe investing, but we're going to have sessions around establishing budgets to the first-time homeowner and buying a home. So it really does span across the generations.
Yeah, absolutely. And the topics, as we've been mentioning, consumer fraud, investing, identity theft, advanced planning, these are all topics that really are multifaceted, and these experts are at the top of the line. They know what they're talking about, and people can ask questions.
Oh, again, they're both the sessions. The one at Tamarack, the Women in Money Conference, October 1st in Beckley, is going to be very interactive, as will the October 19th event at the Charleston Civic Center. Both will have a lot of opportunity for conversation and dialogue, questions and answers.
And just give me your pitch to people who say, well, I don't know if this is for me. Well, what's your pitch to them? Why attend one of these events, or both of these events, which they will get different information at both? Right.
Well, again, it's an opportunity to learn more about how you can protect yourself from any fraudulent scams that may be out there. We know, unfortunately, there are folks who are always trying to take advantage of others, as well as getting information that could help friends or neighbors or a particular group that you belong to, so that you can then share that information back and help others. Yeah, and sharing the information is such a good idea. I know a lot of people go to these conferences and they learn from the speakers, but then in addition to that, it's just talking to some of the other people who are attending. That really sparks something for a lot of people. I think those networking opportunities are a big draw for a conference like either of these, the one in Beckley or the one in Charleston. And the opportunity for folks to learn from others, from their peers, whether it's about how to manage their money or a problem that person has faced that they may be facing in the future. So yeah, the opportunities to learn are abundant, really. Are there any particular people who you think really need to attend something like this? Well, I think, again, folks who have an interest in money or finances, who maybe feel uncomfortable, as you said, or know someone who may be struggling to make ends meet. This could be an opportunity to learn how to maybe make a little more money down the road, improve their money management skills. And I think we can all always learn a little bit more about how to invest a little better. All right. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back and finish up talking with you, Gaylene. We'll be right back. Stay with us for more. Ooh.
I look at Smart 529 as one of the cornerstones of the Treasurer's Office. It gives parents and grandparents an opportunity to save for that college education. We work day and night trying to make people aware how important it is for them to save at a very young age for that college education for their children and grandchildren. Education is the future for West Virginia. I believe that's the future for our children, and that's why I've made it one of the cornerstones in the Treasurer's Office.
Welcome back to Treasury Notes. I'm your host, Gina Long. I'm joined here today by Gaylene Miller with AARP. Thank you so much for being here today. And you're here to talk a little bit more about Money Smart Week and some of the financial education initiatives going on in the month of October. Earlier we talked a lot about the Women in Money Conference, which is happening in Beckley on October 1st at Tamarack. We also want to talk a lot about one of the other events associated with Money Smart Week, which is Consumer University, and that's happening on October 19th. Earlier we talked about how this is for consumers, but it's also for a lot of professionals. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we actually have a couple or three different tracks for professionals. So for law enforcement, we're offering classroom conversations and discussions around financial exploitation and abuse. We have the mechanics of those financial scams that are going to be talked about. The Wood County Sheriff's Office is working with us and is going to be providing some guidelines for an effective investigation. And of course, we have some keynote speakers from the Attorney General's Office, the State Auditor, the State Treasurer. There's also a track for lawyers and social workers. That track will include an overview of elder abuse, as well as recognizing the signs of abuse and exploitation, and some case studies really for lawyers and social workers to learn from and have an opportunity to talk among themselves about potential cases they've seen and how they can better interact together to avoid, help others avoid financial exploitation or abuse. And then there is a third track that will be for financial planners and professionals. You can learn more about any or all of these tracks at the website, which is moneysmartweek.com/WV.
And the professionals will have the opportunity to talk with other professionals, as you said, really get a feel for how some of this stuff works. But it's also for the general consumer, can come to this Consumer University and go away with a lot of information in hand. Also, it's just a good opportunity for people to learn more about their finances.
That's right. We're actually calling it a Financial Literacy and Education Summit. And that's some fancy words, but it's really all about being a smarter consumer and having tools and tips at hand to help yourself, protect yourself, and help others.
And some of the professionals will have the opportunity to gain continuing education credits as well.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of reasons for folks to attend.
All right. Thanks so much for talking about these initiatives and the Money Smart Week. I also wanted to ask you really quickly about unclaimed property, which we do here at the Treasurer's Office, and we often promote. We try to lead several states in the quest for getting unclaimed property back to the rightful owners, and you were recently a recipient.
I recently benefited from the program. My sister-in-law actually called me to say that she had seen my name in the newspaper insert that was in her newspaper in Parkersburg. So I went online, and it was very easy to fill out the template online. Some additional information was requested, and within a week I had received a check.
So that was definitely some extra money you didn't know about, and always a good thing when you get a check in the mail that you're not expecting.
Exactly.
Usually it's a bill, right?
But yeah, so it's a great program, and I was really impressed at how easy it was to access that and to get the money that I hadn't realized I had available to me.
Right, so you're definitely a poster child now for unclaimed property, and we want to remind people that if you are interested in our unclaimed property program, if you think there's even an inkling that you might have something out there, feel free to go to our website, www.wvtreasury.com. It's a very simple process, as you said. It's very easy to go on there and search to see if you are owed money, and then once you find out if you're owed money, now we have the e-claim system, which is very easy to get that money back. You don't even have to, in most cases, you don't have to send something in the mail anymore.
That's right. And again, it's information that everyone should know about themselves.
All right. Thank you so much, Gaylene, for joining us today. We appreciate you being here.
Gina, thanks for having us on.
All right. That wraps up today's show. Remember, you can always get the latest news, information, and events from the State Treasurer's Office. Again, our website is wvtreasury.com. I want to thank Gaylene Miller with AARP for joining me here today. I also want to thank Greg Stone for his contributions to today's show, and thanks to all the staff at the West Virginia Library Commission. Keeping you informed on the Library Television Network, I'm Gina Long with the Office of West Virginia State Treasurer John Perdue. See you next time.